So today we're going to be trying out something a little bit different. This is the highest damage in patch 1.22, at least so far, and it is the second highest damage of all time in the VKK. Now the VKK is an interesting tank. It's a Clan War tank, as some of you are probably well aware. It has a really weird and special gun. It's not very good without stab, and as you can see by the equipment choice, that is questionable. But in my opinion, this tank is... it's one of those tanks where it's so slow that it doesn't really matter if you put turbo on it or not. Like, you just kind of deal with the slowness and just use the gun to its full potential. Because you have that big boy 750 alpha damage gun. You don't really need to get into position too fast. And you only need to put in four shots, 5 shots to have a very decent game. So it's, it can quickly rack up the damage. And you can also quickly hide from the damage. So you play this like a little trading tank. I mean, I say little. There's nothing little about this tank. So in my opinion, I wouldn't bother with the equipment, but at the same time, I have not had a damage game like this, so what do I know? So we're going to be watching this, and talking through the VKK. This, compared to the Panzer 7, is just flat out better. It gets a much better weak spot protection. So right below the turret ring right here, you will see that it's not easy to pen, or not as easy to pen. So you can't really reliably side scrape with the Panzer 7 in the same way that you can kind of side scrape in this tank. But as you would have also seen, there is a lot of blocked damage just from the lower plate, and that is exactly the same as the Panzer 7. The lower plate doesn't get changed between these two tanks. The effective thickness is around about 280 to 300 millimeters of penetration needed. And yeah, you just bounce pretty much everything, as you can see. The upper plate is basically an auto bounce. The lower plate, if they don't have enough pen, is basically an auto bounce. It can be very annoying to deal with if you do not have, I would say 330, maybe 320 plus heat. Because even 310 to 300 heat can maybe go through it, but you'd have to get a little bit lucky. But as you can see, this is 1, a tier 8 game, and 2, they're getting quite lucky, or Dogsoldier is getting quite lucky, in regards of not many of them are firing heat or premium rounds. Not that the VK75-1K, which is a tier 8 heavy, can really do much against him anyway, even with his premium rounds, but they've already racked up 4,200 damage in just over 4 minutes. Make that 4,800 damage and 2 kills. And as you can also see, Dogsoldier has free marked this tank, which is not an easy tank to free mark. Even before it got pushed up to beyond 6k, it was always, well, it has always been around about 5.8 or 5.9 to free mark this tank. Maybe sometimes a little bit lower than that, but just depending on the time. But this tank was never an easy tank to free mark. So to have a free mark on this thing is impressive, because this doesn't have the damage capability like the Chieftain has, where it would just rush into location, do a lot of damage. It's got the DPM, it's got loads of stuff to back it up. This tank can very easily get caught out and you just die. Unless you're in this kind of situation where you've already racked up 6,600 damage and you have a T103 who is, well, I mean, I think the technical term is not gaming. And that is... You'll have also noticed, if you're paying close attention, that he got a max roll earlier, which is 938. And just before that, 879 on the VK 75-1K. So he's having a little bit of RNG luck on his side as well. Not to mention, he's only taken 1 shot of damage so far. Yeah. The stars are aligning for him. And if I was in his position right now, I would be feeling very, very confident in... Like, this is an easy 10k game. Like, if you kind of mess this up at this point, then you've made a misplay. If that makes sense. Because there's still lots of potential damage in front of you. You still have 1,600 on the 113. And there is still the FV to the left as well. And even the IS-7 and the M4Y in the middle. So potential damage-wise, this is easily like a 10k game. And I would start to feel a little bit cautious of that fact as well. Because I would know that, oh, this is getting towards the potential game. So you can see why he's backing off here, because he doesn't really want to misplay this. At the same time, he needs to be very, very careful, because that FV could just fly into him. I don't even know. How much health does the FV have? I can't use my my markers to find out, unfortunately. I don't know why they don't work in replays, actually. It's a interesting bug. Finally, he low rolls. I mean, he did actually low on the TNH earlier as well with 716, but... So the yin and yang has been restored in the world. I mean, the 113 also high rolled him, so it's all coming back into balance. But that FV and that 113, now that he's up to 877, 8,773, I would be thinking, I could probably push this. At the same time, like, I mean, I would probably be pushing up to around about here and just seeing if I could fight this. Because I don't believe... Yeah, do they have shots from up here down to this location? I'm not sure. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I would probably be... I wouldn't take this shot. I don't trust this gun that much. Like, I would not take that shot in that scenario. I would have pushed up to that house in front of him and tried to get damage on the 113 that way, because it's a much easier shot to hit. Not to mention the FV wouldn't be able to shoot you as well. So he bounces an AP round off the... I don't even know where that was. Maybe the upper plate? It looks like it's the upper plate. And now the FV... Hello, Mr. FV friend. And there's his 10k damage secured. I'd be pretty happy right now. I'd be over the moon. 10k damage done. 5 kills. This is an insane game, even if we died right now. But there is still quite a lot of enemies alive. And there is still 9.5k, at least from what we can see, that has been spotted on this side within our render range on the map. It's now down to 8.4. And there is still the full health IS-7 in the middle. And now a full health TS-54. Which is... You'll notice a little bit of lag. And you'll see that his ping actually spikes up. So I believe that that is his side having lag. Whether that's a routing issue to the Wargaming servers or whatnot. But that's not really the time to have lag, is it? I would be pretty annoyed if I was lagging and I had 10k. So you will notice a little bit of lag throughout the rest of the replay, which makes it interesting, shall we say. But VK, it doesn't go anywhere fast, okay? The potential you can get up to, I think, is 39 kilometers an hour. And that's with the field mods, with a turbo. I believe that's with Bond turbo, actually. Because you get, I believe it's 30... Wait, actually, I don't remember. It might be 35 by default or 32 by default. Or, no, I believe it's 33 by default, and then you can choose the field mod, which is plus 2 kilometers an hour. I think. So it's somewhere near 40 kilometers an hour. That's all that matters. But it definitely doesn't move around the map fast. Which is why I was saying that... Yeah, I mean... Turbo is meh. But we are loading... I mean, he was going to load a HE round. Which is probably a better choice. Because these HE rounds do get quite a lot of average penetration with 85. And there is now 6, 5, 4, and they go out the cap. Interesting. He misses the shot as well, but the thing to take note of is that HE would have probably been better because he would have decapped even if he managed to bounce somehow. Where are we going? There, alright. He's come back. He had a sudden lag spike and he managed to bounce off the upper hull of the IS-7. But this is what I mean. It's this poor IS-7, man. This IS-7 doesn't stand a chance, by the way. As long as he keeps his front faced to the IS-7, the IS-7 is firing standard rounds. Even with premium rounds, it's going to struggle. I mean, he's struggling to hit a VK in front of him at the moment. But now one more in. I'm sure he had fun. 13,000 damage, 6 kills, and he's lagging. I don't even know what to say, man. Like, that's actually mental. To be fair, Turbo probably saved him, actually. If we think about it. Because in this style of game, at that point, he probably only got back to the cap just in time. Maybe he would have been able to get back in time. Maybe. I don't know. It would have been a lot closer than the 4 seconds or so before they went out the cap. So, maybe. Maybe he would have been able to still decap. But that's what I mean. Like, if that was the scenario, then he could have just put HE into the I-7 track and then decap that way. Not that his team's really helping him. I mean, what health do they have? I mean, I suppose they're both one shot. So he was really the only person that could go and help out. But if there was more than... I mean, as soon as he fired, if they all just rushed him, then he would be dead right now. Like if the EBR and the Saladin, or the good old Salad King, decided that they wanted to kill it, then that would have been an easy kill for them. But this Gorilla, we know, is in J5. No, yeah, J5, J6 sort of area. So we're going to go run over there and have a little look. Because as long as this guy spots the Gorilla as he fires, the E4 and the M6Y should be able to shoot it. Although, I haven't even noticed this until now. But the E4 and the M6Y are both looking at a building. Which is interesting. Interesting gameplay. There's the Gorilla. He has HE loaded. Ah. Ah. Typical Gorilla. Yes, we aim at the lower plate, we hit the track. The slight low roll on the heat, but he had heat preloaded. If he had HE right now... Oh my god, this Gorilla. I haven't actually seen this part of the replay yet. Oh, this Gorilla, man. Oh, and now he's lagging again. He went all up to 680 MS. All that they need to do now is kill this EBR. But there is no way, unless the EBR is dumb, that this doesn't end in a draw. Like, because the EBR can just run forever. Unless the M6Y manages to kill him now. I mean, truth be told, he should be dead anyway to the Gorilla. I don't know why everyone is shooting AP in this game. Look how much AP was shot at him. Look. That's unbelievable. And it's a draw. Man, imagine doing 13,900 damage and you draw. So yes, the VKK the second highest damage ever in this tank, and the highest damage for update 1.22. This ends in a draw, 13,907 damage done with 7 kills. 27 shots fired, 24 hit, and 20 penned. Imagine if he just wasn't lagging. If he wasn't lagging, then maybe this would have been a slightly different result. I mean, it is quite funny that he done, what, 12,000 more damage than the next best person on his team. So that is what happens when nearly all the stars align in one of those games where you don't get person firing premium at you. I mean, I don't know why the gorilla wasn't firing premium at him. He would have killed him and the game would have been over and they would have won. But there you go. So thank you very much, Dog Soldier, for uploading the replay and sharing it with everybody in WOT Tanks. And thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. It's not going to be perfect, the commentary and whatnot, because this is obviously the first time trying this. But hopefully you enjoyed this more chilled out video and we just get to watch at the same time a decent replay. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.